Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 7 of the GPVWC Formula Challenge Championship here in a rather wet Canada. I'm joined, as always, by Menno, Klont as we head into the qualifying session. Sorry, I almost forgot your name there, Menno, even though I've done the whole season with you. But how are you today, Menno? Looking forward to this one?
Yeah, I'm looking forward, as always, to the Formula Challenge races. Now at a circuit du Villeneuve at the Ile de Notre Dame. I think this is an amazing track, fast track, with a lot of pretty hard braking zones. And I guess we will see a lot of battles. Circuit is perfect for a lot of good battles. And I'm also wondering what will happen in the championship, because recent rounds were pretty close, and let's see what will happen today. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah, it should be really good. Like you mentioned there, the championship been really close all season, really, between Darius Andre and Isaac Morris mainly. Coming into this round just 2 points apart at the top, with Dennehan and Scott Mitchell, and even Fabian Reef not too far behind, even though he missed the first round. So it's looking very tasty at the top, but we're here in qualifying. It's Darius Andre there, like I said, championship leader, just hit the wall of champions, just starting up his lap. So in these conditions it could be quite easy to do that, as you see him slide in there through turn 2. It's worth mentioning, so we had the practice session, it was wet, and then it stopped raining about 5 minutes ago. And also these cars do not have intermediate tyres. They only have dries or wet, one compound of each. So these are very tricky conditions, really, to make sure you're on the right tyre. Obviously the wet tyre will have a slightly bigger window than you might expect, seeing as it is the only wet tyre, but it's still tricky to get it right. Obviously there is a dry line now, so I believe everyone should be out on the dry tyres. But it's still going to be difficult for them to make sure they stick on that dry line.
Yeah, it's very difficult in these conditions because, the dry tire seems to be faster, but yeah, there is a dry line, but it's not that wide, so it's quite difficult to keep it in, on the dry line. It seems to be that it's easy, but it's, I think, much more difficult than you actually would expect.
Sorry, I have to cut you off. We just saw Andrew Waring and Darius Andre both clattering into the wall of champions.
And a crash. This is just pretty stupid, because what you want in these conditions, you want to build it up.
Thunderdog has hit them as well. Yeah,
this is stupid, because you want to build it up. This is not like you need to put in your lap times and don't take unnecessary risk at the beginning. And now they both lost their front wing, and this might hunt them the whole session, because if these are the most dry conditions we have in the session, they will have a very big problem. And,
exactly, like you say, it's first lap in these conditions is not one where you need to be pushing.
No.
So Darius was looking a little bit scrappy the entire lap, so he wasn't really going to go too fast anyway, but he still felt the need to defend from Waring there into the chicane. And obviously, especially in these conditions, can't really go side by side there normally, let alone like this.
It was not needed. You just need to put in a lap time, and let's see. Currently, the fastest lap time by, I believe, around 6.5 tenths is Mike Quint. So Mike Quint now fastest, and Mikael Tumala now in P2. That's impressive from Tumala in P2. And now we're looking also at the weather, because if it starts to rain more heavily now, it could very well be that the first lap is the most important lap. And if you then are Darius or I believe Andrew Waring, then you have a big problem. So yeah, it's all about...
Oh, there's more contact between them there. I've just noticed on the exit of the hairpin. They've both been obviously coming around slowly without their front wing. Andrew went on, and then Darius just pushed him into the wall really on the exit there. I'm not sure what's going on with both of them, but a bit more argy-bargy than you normally expect in a qualifying session, where it's really not needed.
It's not needed, that's the whole thing. He just Darius needs to be focused.
A hit again, sorry, coming into the pit lane.
And it's getting a bit of silly, and it's not what the championship needs. So, well, I mean, I've got Tom Parker who jumped to P2.
Yeah, but Mike Quint has improved on his lap time. He's currently almost a second.
Almost
at the top.
second.
Obviously, in these conditions, you will see bigger gaps between drivers, potentially, because it's just more difficult to get that perfect lap time out.
Tom van der Voort now
at the
to
moment,
P2.
Mike
And
Quint, very good.
I hope we can get an onboard of Dylan Platt, who now goes purple in the first 2 sectors.
Yeah, we are on board with him right now, heading on to the back straight. And like you say, yeah, purple, looking very good. I believe him and his teammate Kozlowski both got caught up in that incident at the final chicane between Andre and Waring. So yeah, he didn't really get a great first lap either because of it.
Yeah, Andre and Waring. That's I was
very
good.
Andre Waring. Oh.
Yeah, but
Andrew. And
yeah, that's very
Platt,
good.
though, yeah, he does
Yeah,
go up to the
very
top.
good from Dylan.
Quint.
And yeah, that's an impressive lap time, but not fastest, not purple in the 3rd sector. So I think maybe he was not like taking a lot of risk into the 3rd sector. Well, he knew he was already going to improve quite a lot. So it's now Platt, then it's Quint in P2, and Fabian Root, there he is in P3. So Fabian Root last rounds actually gained a lot of points on the other drivers in the championship. He's only, I believe, 41 points behind in the championship. So, yeah, it seems to be that Fabian Root is he's growing into this championship, Josh. And I would say he can do really well in the upcoming round as well. So, yeah, I think maybe somebody
definitely.
who will challenge for the title the latter part of the championship.
If he keeps what he's doing, then yeah, I think he could. He's a very consistent driver. His results have been really good so far. He's had, well, apart from one race, back in race 1, where he got involved in an incident, he's been in the top 9 at every single race.
Yeah.
Obviously with a win thrown in there as well. So yeah, very consistent, just getting all the points that he needs, and that is the most important thing.
We've got a bit of bad news from Mike Quint. Mike Quint was fastest sector 1, but now sector 2. He is also does a green lap time, but I think he might have a big problem. And he goes in,
Going to the pits, yeah.
because he got a lot of traffic. Oh, so he actually cancelled that lap. And now it's Joseph Hurlock, his teammate, who jumps to P2. So the Alpha Delta team looks to be quite fast in this this qualifying session so far. We've got, let's see, 7 minutes to go in this session.
Yeah, I've noticed, by the way, I mentioned obviously at the start that everyone should be on the dry tyres, and now everyone is, but Jack Nichols was the only driver to go out on the wet tyres, but I believe he did 1 lap and realised that they were not the right tyres, so he pit onto dries, but he's been struggling out there on those dries. I think he's had a few kind of slides, so currently down in P30.
And we've got Ruben Machede jump to the provisional pole position. That's a very good lap. And he didn't got any purple sector time, but just 3 green sector times. I think just a little bit slower every sector than the purple sector time. And he goes top. So the young German does very well there. So I would say it's surprising top 4 now, with Ruben Machede leading, then Dylan Platt, then Tom van der Voort, and then Joseph Hurlock. So that's interesting. Josh, I would say this qualifying session is also about timing, right? Do the right lap at the right time.
Yes, definitely. Let's say what you mentioned earlier, that actually the rain is now coming down a bit harder. So yeah, obviously the start of the session was really the driest part, but now with it raining again, it could be difficult for people to improve here. See, the track gets more and more slippy, less grip, just sliding more difficult to even just get a lap in, let alone make it be quicker. So yeah, like we mentioned, as I was about to talk about Andrew Waring, Darius Andre having their issues, but Andrew Waring does go pole at the moment, a tenth quicker than Ruben Machete, so his issues haven't seemed to have stopped him. I guess worth pointing out that Andrew Waring, obviously, he is from Canada, and he did the Canada race last year for the challenge and got the win there. So he does like this place, and obviously he's a very fast driver in general. So yeah, you
but
expect to see him up there.
Yeah, the driving at home effect for Andrew Waring is there. At least it was last year, and this year, I think again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's see. We're currently watching. It's Kevin Morville in P23. It's not super fast, but can he improve? And
no, fortunately does not. So yeah, maybe. I mean, the rain is now going back down. It's going to fluctuate quite a bit, obviously, throughout the session. But it's just kind of wetting the track a little bit more. So maybe some people struggling with that. But it's worth pointing out. I mean, we're talking about the championship at the start. Like say, Fabian Reef doing well, but Isaac Morris and Darius Andre currently down in P9 and 10. Obviously, the top two in the standing. So not so great for them. I'm sure they'd be expecting more. I guess it's worth pointing out that we had obviously China was the last wet round in Formula Challenge, where Isaac Morris won comfortably there. Didn't really get challenged at all. But Darius Andre was struggling there quite a bit in the wet. So maybe it was the circuit, maybe it was the conditions, who knows. But yeah, Darius still seemingly not so quick in these conditions, as he just spins out again at the first chicane. So yeah, not a good session so far.
Yeah, getting back on that race, I know Isaac Morris won there because he did I think a good move on Mike Quint at the start, but now it looks like Isaac Morris is not at the first four or first three rows, so it will be much more difficult for him, I think, in this race unless he can improve. But now looking at the timing thing, I don't see any improvement. No green sectors. And while I say that, I now see 2 green sectors, but I don't think people are improving at the moment. And I think we will not see any more improvements during this qualifying session. It's raining way too hard, and I think this is pole position for Andrew Waring with Ruben Machete in P3 and Dylan Platt in P3. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it could be. Yeah, like I say, it was raining quite hard. So yeah, they just not enough grip really on the track at the moment for these guys. It could be maybe they're just trying to get used to the conditions again and just driving around to get used to that, and then they'll wait until the last second, the last person on track, to get the best of the conditions and go at the end. I think that's what Mike Quint just did, as he's setting up going to a lap now.
Yeah, I must say that if Andrew Waring gets pole, then I think he's a bit lucky as well, because with the incident he had at the beginning of this session, it could have very well have been bad luck for him. But yeah, it got drier and drier, and when he put in the fast lap, and it actually started to rain again. So it's all a bit being a bit lucky on timing. And when do you put your lap in? What are the conditions when you put the lap in? And when does it start raining again? If it starts raining again, and I think Andrew Waring timed it perfectly, and maybe that's a skill
definitely.
As well. I think it definitely is.
Yeah, definitely. We just see here Adrian Faber. He's going to come across the line. His first lap time of the session only goes P27.
I believe.
But it's worth saying that he Isaac Morris as well. Yeah. I don't believe he's green middle sector yet.
Yeah, so he can jump.
So we'll see what he can do.
Can he jump a few places? He needs that.
Oh, he improves his time, but yeah, unfortunately does not jump up any places. As we've got quite a few people now will be crossing the line to start their final lap. Andrew Waring just crossed the line. Dylan Platt as well has just crossed the line.
And
quite a few people.
Joseph Hurlock is now in the pits, so I believe the track is getting drier again. and Joseph Hurlock is not there to capitalize on it.
So yeah, and there was a big train just going to the start line there in the final few seconds, and unfortunately, Riva Machete and a Force Polonia car were at the back of that train and were just a few seconds away. That was Adam Rainey down in P25.
I see a lot of green sector times, and even a purple one from Dylan Platt. Dylan Platt goes purple in the first sector, and the Waring goes a tenth slower, still green in his first sector, and Mike Quint and Isaac Morris go green. I think Isaac Morris is actually going green, so what can he do?
And Jack Nichols, purple sector 2. I mentioned that he was struggling a little bit. He's got himself up to P14, and now purple sector 2 for him, which is good. Obviously, he's last few rounds haven't been as amazing for him. At the start, he was looking like one of the other title contenders, but he's going to come across the line now. Let's see where he can go. Oh, he only moves up one position after a purple middle sector. That's not good stuff from him. That's Dylan Platt. He does improve his lap time, but doesn't move up any positions. And Andrew Waring, wow, that's a amazing lap there from Andrew Waring.
That's an amazing lap. And what about Mike Quint? What about Mike Quint? P6 now, P4. So he gains 2 positions.
Oh, Darius Andre there. P2
Darius Andre.
Right at the end.
Darius. Oh, they found each other again.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, Darius. That's very impressive, because he was not there the whole session. He didn't seem to be the guy where we were looked into, but P2. So. And
very impressive stuff there at the end.
Yeah, and no purple sector, so we just did a decent lap without being faster than any of those sectors. So very interesting.
Exactly. So that means we've got Andrew Waring on pole position then for his home race, a race that he won last year, like we mentioned, with Darius Andre behind him. So they've already had their fair share of incidents in qualifying itself.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with each other at turn 1. Behind them, Riva Machete with a great lap from him, Dylan Platt P4, great stuff from him, and Mike Quint P5. And then Tom Van der Waal P6, Joseph Hurlock P7, and Isaac Morris down in P8. I'm sure he'll be hoping to get up into that fight as well with Darius Andre, but like I say, it'll be very difficult, especially in these conditions. And then Fabian Ruth as well, P9. Michael Tumala, a great job from him to get himself up into P10 there. And then Luke Mitchell and P11, Mika Hakimi P12, Tom Voss P13, Jack Nichols P14 there, and Scott Mitchell as well, King's Racing teammate, down in P15. Then Tom Parker 16th, Maximilian Junger P17, Jake Dennehan P18. That's a not ideal session for him. Not sure if he had issues or just couldn't quite get to grips with the conditions. And then Mateusz Kozowski in P19 and Maciej Sandak in P20. And then we've got Jared van der Weide P21, Adrian Faber P22, but he has a 20 place grid penalty from the last round, so he'll be starting last anyway. Alessandro Valente for Valence Sim Racing, so quite a good pair in there in P23. Ben Willis in P24, Mike Bell P25, Kevin Morville P26, Adam Rainey 27, Philip Morby P28, Dan Hulsel P29, and Tommy Koivunen P30. And then I believe for one of the first times actually we've got an entire grid with Petroka Magnussen in P31 and then Bruno Sousa Ferreira rounding it out in P32.
That's a nice full grid, Josh.
Exactly, yeah. It's good to see.
And they all travel to Canada. So, I think an interesting qualifying session, and I'm surprised that after the incident we saw that those guys are still P1 and P2, so they got away with it. Let's see the rest of the grid again. I think a very good job from Ruven Machete to get P3 there. With,
definitely.
Yeah, also worth mentioning Tom van der Voort in P6. I would say that he did a solid job. And Joseph Hurlock also very good in P7. I would say that I think Joseph Hurlock could have qualified even better, but I believe he timed it wrong, so when the track was on its driest in the last hot lap they got, he was in the pit, so I think that cost him, I believe, 2 or 3 positions. So yeah, that was just, I think, yeah, timing wasn't right, or luck was not on his side. Also, Mika Tumala in P10, that's also very good from him, and he can actually score some decent points in the race if they at least if he survives the spray in the first race. So you shall see about that.
I was saying, just see Tommy Koivunen there getting caught out at that final corner, the Wall of Champions. Like we mentioned, it's a difficult corner at the best of times, and in these conditions it's understandable. If you're just slightly offline, then yeah, it's very difficult to get slowed down properly there. But it's worth saying that Andrew Waring is currently the only person on the wet tyres, as he spins on them and hits the wall out of turn 5 there. But yeah, interesting to see that he's the only one to decide or to try out the wets. I mean, after qualifying, it's definitely dry tyre weather. But do you think maybe it's a little bit of strategy from him?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I think they just want to feel when's the crossover point and just look into it, because the thing we will have is that the dry tires seem to be the faster tires, but we only got one dry line, and well, the start-finish line where they start. Of course, half of the grid will start on a wet patch, and if they do that with dry tires, then it will be a big drama. So it's very interesting. Maybe they want to test that. Maybe people want to test how is my launch in the wet with the wet tire, and how's the start on the dry tires. Those small things is what those drivers want to test.
Exactly. Yeah. I suppose it's actually at Canada. It's quite an interesting one in terms of the dry side of the grid, because the racing line isn't really over pole position, at least in qualifying. So the dry line at the moment is actually over the P2 spot, where Darius Andre will also be starting. So yeah, maybe that's why Andrew Waring's trying out the wet, just hoping to keep in front of Darius Andre at the start, and then well, Darius won't be able to go on the wet line really to overtake him. So and
that's the whole thing, is that you can overtake here, but if you have got dry tires and you need to you want to overtake and you need to go to the wet part of the track with your dry tires, that's something which is like really scary. And yeah, maybe some people will say like, hey, I know that the dry tires are faster, but for now I want to have the wet tire, because I know then if I go on the wet part of the track, I will not instantly spin out. So there's all those things they now in the warm-up can test, and of course they can drive with a bit more fuel to see if the car turns as well as they hoped it would. So yeah, it's very interesting.
So at the moment we've got everyone I seem to want to talk about ends up having a spin now. I was about to mention Mike Quint at the moment, top of the standing, or top of the timesheets in warm-up, as he has a spin out of the hairpin. I'm seemingly cursing a lot of people today. But obviously, as we always say, the warm-up sessions don't necessarily show everything. Obviously, people will be trying different things, or maybe just not pushing to their full extent. But Miki Hakimi there actually just took the top spot away from Mike Quint. But yeah, obviously people, especially in these conditions, will be probably trying quite a few race starts to see what sort of grip there is when they're online or offline. Depends on which side of the grid they're on. So an interesting warm-up session for the drivers. One thing as well, actually, that I don't believe we mentioned, we were talking about Adrian Faber actually with his 20 place grid penalty, but Fabian Roof as well from P9 also has a 10 place grid penalty. So obviously we were saying he was very consistent points wise, but it's going to be a bit more difficult now starting P19, especially in these conditions, to try and fight his way through the field.
Yeah, and I think
and then also Owen Halsall as well with the 10 place penalty, but obviously he's starting near the back anyway, so that won't necessarily affect him too much.
I think that's one of the big problems now. If you're mid-pack, and we will have the race start soon, how is the spray? How will the spray be for the guys? I mean, if you're in mid-pack, you cannot see anything, and that's also a thing which can give a bit of problems. I would say the top 5, top 10 will be having a bit of visibility at the start, but behind there, you might not see anything, and
while they're on the dry line, obviously there isn't actually much spray being kicked up by the cars, but if you've got an entire grid of 32 cars all trying to make moves, going offline and things like that, then that will definitely kick up the spray and make it even more difficult than it already is to try and look for an overtake. That is worth looking out for, as we see, just watching Dylan Platt actually sort of attempting an overtake at the hairpin, and he had to go into the wet stuff. He just about got it slowed down, but didn't look very comfortable for him. But I suppose this is a good time for the drivers to test that, see exactly how much grip loss they have.
Yeah.
Are they going to try?
No,
they don't go side by side through the final chicane. I'd be very surprised if we see a move there in the race, at least at the start, while it's still wet. Be interesting to see a move there that doesn't end up with both cars in the wall, because I think it would be quite difficult in these conditions.
You know what's very interesting, in recent warm-up sessions, you will not see that much activity. Some drivers are just taking a bit of a break and just maybe test one lap, and then they will focus to the race. But I now see a lot of drivers doing all the laps, just feeling the conditions improve and feel where the grip is at this moment with the track. So this is, I think, rush hour in warm-up. So but that's something I noticed now. So a lot of drivers are trying to get a feel for it, and see a lot of purple lap times, and also purple sectors and green sector lap times. So everybody's still improving and learning.
Yeah, exactly. I think, from what I can see, Downard Halsall is the only person not to have even gone out on track. Everyone else has been driving around, which is very different to normal, where we see about 5 lap times actually get set in these warm-up sessions. Interesting to see, just watching Andrew Waring, so he has gone on to the dry tyres now to test them out. He's actually just done a practice start on a part of the track that was half wet and half dry, which is quite likely what his good spot is going to be like. So just trying out these things to get a bit of practice on it, make sure he knows what he can do at the start, and try to minimise the time loss he'll get from starting on the wetter side of the grid.
Dylan Platt, purple lap time, I believe, again purple sector. So they're still improving.
I have noticed we haven't had any rain at all in this warm-up session, or really since sort of the end of that qualifying session. The lap times will be getting more to the drivers, and I mean, the more they drive around, the wider that dry line will get. So it will eventually get a bit easier for the guys to look for moves, but it's still tricky, especially in all the heavy braking zones, which is where everyone's been on the exact racing line so far. So there's not too much kind of room for error there.
Oh, we're now waiting for Dylan. That will be a new fastest lap time. Yes. 25.
Stop.
Joseph Hurlock to P3. You just
Yeah, I
see
suppose we normally say that the warm-up sessions don't necessarily mean much in terms of times, but I suppose with the amount of laps people have been doing, and they probably have been pushing to try and find the limits of the grip, this might be a bit more representative than it normally is. In which case, I'm sure Dylan Platt will be very happy with that. Obviously, even normally, it does give the drivers a bit of a confidence boost, just topping the session. But I'm sure Dylan will be very excited after this one. And any second now, we will be heading into the race session and finally getting to see what start's going to be like. Have you got any predictions, Menno, on what the start will be like, or what sort of drivers do you think will be able to get a good start and make their way up the grid?
Yeah, very interesting. I think experience will be very important here. So I give Andrew a good chance from pole, also because he's got clear visibility. But I will also say somebody like Tom van der Voort will be very good here because, yeah, he knows what to do in these conditions, and he's starting, I believe, P6.
Yes,
So,
he is. Yeah.
So yeah, Tom van der Voort should be the one to watch, I would say, this race.
Interesting. I suppose we have seen. I agree with your point though, that experience will be the important thing here. There's a few different tricks you can try in our Factor 2 to help yourself out, and obviously that's where experience will count. But it is interesting to see that Isaac Morris, obviously he's starting down in P8 for this one, so not quite as high up as he has done. But we've seen him get quite a lot of kind of rocket starts where he makes up 4 or 5 positions on the first lap. And he is starting on the dry side of the grid, so it'll be interesting to see if he can do that again today. And I suppose this is a more important race for him to do that. But anyway, drivers are heading out on the formation lap now, so we'll run through the order. As we said, Andrew Waring P1 and Darius Andre P2, with Ruben Machado P3 and Dylan Platt P4, and then Quint P5, Tom van der Voort P6, Joseph Herlock P7, and Isaac Morris in P8. And then Michael Timala P9, Luke Mitchell P10, Mika Hakimi P11, and Tom Voss P12. And then the 2 Kings Racing guys in 13th and 14th, Nichols and Mitchell, and Tom Parker in 15th, and Maximilian Junger in P16. And then Jake Dennehan all the way down in P17, Montez Kozlowski in P18, Fabian Ruth down in P19, and Matrix Sandak in P20. Then Jared van der Weide in P21, Alessandro Valente in P22, Ben Willis P23, and Mike Bell P24. Then Kevin Morville P25, Adam Rainey P26, Philip Morby P27, and Tommy Koivunen P28. And then Petreka Magnussen P29, Bruno Sousa Ferrero P30, and round out the grid it's Dan Halsall P31 and Adrian Faber with his grid penalty and P32. I suppose worth pointing out as well that Adrian Faber is a very fast driver, and I believe he started at the back of the grid a couple of times this season and has always made his way up quite far, so it'll be very interesting to keep an eye on him and see what he can do there. And actually it means that we've got the entire grid is in a Valet Esports sandwich with Andrew Waring P1 and Adrian Faber P32.
Oh, interesting strategy from Andrew Waring here. He's standing a bit to the right in his box, so what he's trying to get the driest patch, which is what is possible, and if the game detects it, I believe it's allowed. Well, I see Ruben Machado standing much more in his actual grid spot, so that's very interesting. Nearly all cars are now lined up.
I've just seen, so all cars were on the formation lap, but Jad van der Weide has decided to actually start from the pit lane.
Not a bad shout, I would say.
Yeah. As we've got the lights going on now, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we are away in Canada. Andrew Waring struggles for grip there. Darius Andre got a better start, but he cannot look around the outside there into turn 1. And they keep in formation there. as behind them, there's a lot of moves going on. Ruben Machado dropped down a little bit. Isaac Morris has moved up a couple of positions, up into P6. But they're all keeping it relatively clean, which is good for these conditions.
And now the turn 3, turn 4 looks quite okay. Oh, Mikakimi with a big mistake, but no drama. Oh, Mikakimi needs to, struggle with the car in, I believe, P15, but I think it's more or less all clean. No big drama at the moment on this very wet track, but it's still Andrew Waring that leads. Now going to the third sector with Darius Andre in P2, Dylan Platt in P3, and Mike Quint in P4. With Machede, I believe he lost 2 positions.
Yeah, I've just seen, sorry, further back, we've had a pretty big incident. Adam Rainey looking for a move and just got onto that wet stuff and then just lost control.
Oh, Jared van der Weijden lost it! Oh, and Jared van der Weijden lost it. Also going to the wet part of the track with the dry tires, and then you just instantly lose grip. So Ben Willis is out again. I believe this is not the first time this season that he has been retired from the first lap. So shame that happened again.
So just noticed, so Fabian Ruth didn't have the best of first laps. He lost a few positions and he's just missed the final chicane there. Had to take the escape road. There's a certain cone they have to go around, otherwise they could get a penalty, and he did take that. But not a great lap one there for Fabian Ruth. He's down in the pack anyway, but got some clean air in front of him now, so I'm sure he'll be looking to get his pace down and pick off some positions. But yeah, at the front, Andrew Waring has just pulled away here. 1.6 seconds already to Darius Andre. Yeah. Very interesting to see. Also, we talk about potentially going on to the wets for Andrew Waring, try and just hold him back, but at the moment it's looking like he didn't need that. Look further back. Oh, Luke Mitchell and Joseph Herlock involved in an incident there. Didn't see what happened. I noticed they were switching positions a few times down the straight into the second chicane, and yeah, Herlock was just on the wet stuff, caught out on that, setting him round.
Okay, so I noticed something. Both the what is this? Oh no, it's not only those, but the Team Vertage cars are both smoking on the straight. I see, both of them, losing a bit of oil or something, and that's very interesting. I mean,
ooh, sorry, Darius Andre just gone almost straight on there at turn 1. He had a bit of a wiggle, and that's allowed Dylan Platt up his inside here into turn 3. He's going to have to brake on the wet stuff, but he goes for it, and he makes his way through. Very nice stuff there from Dylan Platt. Didn't take the opportunity. Yeah,
Darius shouldn't forget who's got more to lose, and that's he. He himself, of course, is fighting for the championship, and, well, Dylan Platt is not, so, yeah, well, you can let him go, I would say. As long as your main rivals are still behind you, you're still doing a decent job. But, a mistake from Darius, and I think he's bit struggling in these conditions, and Dylan, of course, in qualifying and warm-up, he looked pretty quick, so I think he now wants to go hunt for Andrew Waring.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it would be difficult at the moment. Andrew Waring is going about 4 tenths quicker than anyone else, at least on the last lap. Obviously, we're only a few laps in. But yeah, he has got a big lead already to Dylan Platt. It'll be difficult for him to catch it up, but I'm sure he'll give it a go.
Update of Adrian Faber. He's now on at P23.
Wow, very good stuff. Oh,
they've got a big crash. Mike Bell is spinning. Oh, that was a big spin from Mike Bell. His tires will not like that. It's that was not. Not very good, but it was an amazing save from Mike Bell there. He just lost it. Was watching on board with him.
Yeah, very good save there, and very lucky not to take anyone with him. See, out of control into that final chicane is not where you want to be, especially with an entire grid of cars in front of you. But yeah, he did very well there.
See, where are the faster or the highest placed drivers in the championship? So Darius is in P3 now. with Isaac Morris in P6.
Yeah, and then Scott Mitchell in P10.
Yes, Jake Danahan in P14. And where is Fabian Root? In P21. That's not good for Fabian Root, because he needs to be P15, of course, to score points, but also to have a chance to be reversed for race 2. So Fabian Root doesn't look that good in terms of getting points, but the race is still a few laps.
Exactly, like I say, he had a difficult start. He has now closed in a little bit on the pack in front, so I'm sure we'll just have to try pick a few positions off, get some points. See Alessandro Valente there, parked up at the Wall of Champions. He's in a tricky spot there because he can't reverse back because of all the cars going behind him. Yeah, he's done a good job there to just be patient. A difficult spot for him to be. I believe, just watching him back. I was trying to go side by side with King's Racing car there, and as I predicted in warm-up, it did not end too well.
Yeah, but respect for Alessandro, he took his time, he waited for everybody, so that was a very safe rejoin, so that's pretty good.
Exactly. It's very easy when you're in that position to panic a little bit and just want to save as much time as you can and just try to reverse. But I think a good job there not to.
I think that's the thing. When you're in a decent position and you spin, you want to go right away. You want to go, drive again and actually use this head, and that's very good to see. Safe rejoin.
Yeah, I'm watching here. Tom Voss, he from P9, looking for a move maybe into the chicane. No, he backs out of that. Quite smart. He would have had to go onto that wet stuff under braking. Though it's worth saying that there is actually quite a dry line forming there, as you just see an overtake. Sorry, I've just watched back. Luke Mitchell up the inside of Maximilian Junger, into that final chicane. Very good stuff from him.
Ooh. Well, I see a bit of wheel banging with Jake Danahan and Mateusz Guzowski, but Jake Danahan is past. And I still see the Team Frelik car of Ruven Machede smoking, and that's of course a bit is not too bad, but if it keeps smoking, it could very well be that it's overheating or is getting too hot. And will this give problem for Ruven Machede in P5?
Exactly, it could do it. Funnily enough, the other red car of Michael Tumala in the Scuderia Cap Clay is also smoking still. So is Tom Parker and Hakimi actually, P11 and 12. So a few people being very aggressive on the radiators here clearly. But yeah, hopefully they can survive the race. I'm sure they've tested it out to do that. As you see, one of the first cars, Ruven Machede, had a quick look there into the final chicane, but no, not close enough to go for a move. And at the front, actually, Dylan Platt and Darius Andre have actually been closing in on Andrew Waring for the last few laps. Got the gap down to about 2 seconds. I think it extended up to about 4. So very good stuff from them at the moment. Just chasing him down, trying to get him involved in their fight, really.
Yeah, well, Mike Quinn cannot, follow this the speed of.
So we see Isaac Morris going for a move. The wet stuff on the exit did very well to hold on to that. It was quite a good look from him. He got it stopped, which was all you can ask for in these conditions. But fortunately just pushed on to the wet stuff on the exit, and did very well not to spin.
Yeah, I think he Ruven I believe was it was logical from Ruven to at least keep the inside, and it pushed Isaac a bit on the wet patch, and he did well to save that. Well, I believe Darius Andre has got a run on Dylan Platt now for P2. He will go for it. I think he will brake later.
Yeah. When they make contact, they're both off. They're both having to take the escape road. They can't.
And look at Mike Quint now. Look at Mike Quint.
He's hit the wall. He had to cut across. very aggressively to avoid Dylan there, but he has made the move after hitting the wall.
Yeah, what he did, he was wanted to move, and with the dry tires, the dry tires said, no, I don't give you more grip than this.
Yeah, and we saw as well Isaac Morris make a move, just a normal move compared to what happened there on Ruben Machete into turn 1. Just nice on the brakes and made his pass. But yeah, very interesting there. We'll have to, well, I suppose unfortunately we can't look back on it on the screen. But I believe Darius Andre might have actually moved a tiny bit, which might have pushed them both off, but they all made it through relatively cleanly. Yeah. So still on track, that's the main part.
But now it's interesting is that now Mike Quint is in this battle again. He was, I think, a bit too slow to follow Dylan and Darius, but yeah, he just took the last corner normally, and yeah, already got one position, and maybe he now can get Darius.
Exactly, it's also meant Isaac Morris and Ruben Machete, even with them trading places, have also got a little bit closer to the pack.
We've got a good fight for P9 now. It's Mika Hakimi against Scott Mitchell. Can Mika Hakimi break later? No, he can't, and just very well not to go for it.
Yeah, meanwhile at the front, actually, all this battling, I see it's allowed Andrew Warren just to pull away. Almost 5-second gap now, he's got to P2. Looking quite controlled at the moment. Obviously, I mean, they were closing in on him on pure pace, but obviously being in the league, he's got the comfort of just being able to run his own race and not get involved, which we've seen happen so many races this season, and Andrew Waring is the latest person to do that.
I'm looking at some battles in the middle of the pack. Well, I believe we had our second retirement, which is Adam Rainey. So now Ben Willis and Adam Rainey are out, and we still have got 30 drivers in this race.
Yeah, it's interesting to see kind of how the drivers are taking this race. Obviously, 2 retirements. I mean, it's obviously not ideal for them, but we've definitely seen races with more.
Oh, look at Isaac Morris.
Isaac Morris. He's going to look to the inside, to the wet stuff, to go
wet stuff.
Make the move on Dylan Platt.
Don't get fooled here. No, he doesn't get fooled here. And this is allowed. What Dylan is doing. You can, if your rival goes for the wet stuff, yeah, you can just drive on the dry stuff. That's big intelligent from Dylan.
Yeah, as long as you leave enough room on the track itself. It doesn't matter about whether it's wet or dry. As long as there's room on the track itself, then it's a fair move, and just, yeah, very smart defending, really. As long as you're on the dry stuff and the person attacking is on the wet stuff, so they can't really do much about it. But I think Dylan had a bit of a slide there in the chicane. So go allow Isaac to have a look. Goes to quite an aggressive dive, and they make contact.
Oh,
Isaac
not
spins
needed.
a little bit.
Yeah, now
Isaac
he's
on the wet stuff to rejoin.
Yeah, now he will lose a position maybe to Ruben Machete. Yeah, Ruben Machete wanted to go for it, but he doesn't get the drive out of that corner. But that was an interesting move from Isaac, and a lot of risk for somebody who's that high in the championship.
Exactly, yeah. I suppose he's seeing at the moment that his title rival, the person who's been beating him most of the season, Darius Andre, is ahead of him in P2. So maybe just trying to claw back a few points where he can, but this early on in the season, there's still a lot of time to wait, be patient, and just let those points come to you around to make moves like that.
Yeah, but if it finishes like this, he will only lose 9 points. But if he, crashes out, then Darius will win 20 points. So that's also the thing. You need to be consistent in scoring, and P5 is still a very decent position for Isaac. He needs to remember that. But of course, if there's a chance, then he could still, of course, go for a better position.
Exactly, yeah. It's all just about being a little bit smart and picking the right battles, the ones that will gain you points easily without risking too much of you ending up out the race, because that is the last thing he'll want.
Oh, we now, I believe, have um, 11 laps completed. Throw over halfway. And, well, Andrew Waring has got no problem whatsoever. He's got a 5.5 second lead on Darius Andre, and yeah, he can just, I think, relax a bit. I don't think he would agree on that, but yeah, it seems to be in control of this race at this moment. But of course, he needs to stay sharp and not put a foot wrong.
Luckily, I just watched back and saw someone who did put a foot wrong, unfortunately, Tom Boss. That braked himself a little bit at the hairpin.
We've got a battle for P5 again. Isaac Morris is looking at Dylan Platt, and Dylan Platt stays in P4.
Interesting as well, we saw Mika Hakimi went for a move at the final chicane. A little bit of a dive, really, on Scott Mitchell. And made a bit of contact, bit of bouncing around between a few guys. Hakimi eventually lost those positions to Tom Parker. But like I said about the other incidents we've seen, they're still all on the track and facing the right way. That's the most important part. And yeah, looking at this battle here between Isaac Morris and Dylan Platt for P4, Isaac is definitely looking like the faster of the two at the moment. But it's just whether he can make a move, a clean move, and make it stick. He tried a couple of laps ago at the second chicane there, and it didn't quite work out.
He's got a
bit of a better run. Yeah, he does. Onto the back straight. Let's see, he looked here as well before he looked to the inside again. And again, Dylan Platt is just going to force him onto the wet stuff. A bit more alongside him and make a bit of contact at the turning point.
Yeah, this was not needed, Isaac. This was not needed. You throw it away yourself, because you would know already that Dylan would have braked later, and now you lost one position out of this. And this, I think, was really fair what Dylan was doing, because Dylan just said, like, I want the dry patch, so I will brake later because the tires give me more grip. So yeah, I think Isaac got a bit fooled here, and in his ambition to get P4, he actually lost a position now, and it's Ruben Machete in P5.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, I think just been a little bit too impatient there to get what would have only have been really 1 or 2 extra points. So maybe didn't need that much risk, but he's still got the pace. Obviously, his car won't be damaged or anything from that. So he should still be able to maybe get involved again in the fight and maybe go for a little bit of a better move next time round. And at the front, Andrew Waring has actually still been extending the lead. He's got over 5.5 seconds now. Andrew's got the fastest lap of the race. So, like I said before, maybe he wouldn't want you to call it a bit easy for him, but it is looking that way at the moment. And
he wants to claim that extra point for the fastest lap as well. So that's I think his ambition to make it.
You see Tom Parker and Scott Mitchell there. Tried to go side by side again in the chicane. He's lost his wing. So unlucky at the work, and he's retired.
Oh no. Yeah. Well, we've got Jack Nichols now battling with Mateusz Gizowski for P14, which will now be P13 alongside, but Gizowski is still there, yes, and now he's there. And now Joseph Hurlock is overtaking Jack Nichols, so from battling for P13, he's going to P14. Oh!
Yeah, he's gone straight on there, straight across the grass. I think maybe it was... is that behind him? Is that Luke Mitchell in the wall?
Luke Mitchell in the wall. And he's stuck with his, I believe, his bottom plate. Oh, and I think Luke Mitchell is out, yeah. And it all starts...
he's just stuck on the curb. Obviously, with it being wet as well, it's just no grip at all on those tyres. It looked like he got caught out trying to brake the same point that Jack Nichols did. Jack Nichols, I guess, got a little bit lucky in that he went straight over, so he did carry on, but unfortunately Mitchell just spinning around there. That's a shame for him.
So what I noticed now is that we've got a lot of battles where somebody is going to attack, but actually from attacking losing position.
That Darius Andre, he's just outbraked himself at the chicane, and Mike Quince through into P2. It's just, well, I don't think he was. Oh, see, he wasn't defending at all. He was on all the dry stuff, but he just locked up a little bit. Just went straight on there. Luckily not to spin it at all. It's quite easy to do when rejoining over the bumpy curbs and the wet stuff, but yeah, he has lost the position from that to Mike Quint. But yeah, back to your point. I've sort of noticed the same thing that you were saying. Yeah, the people that are attacking, the ones really with all the risk, and the people defending it, it's quite easy to just sort of place your car on the dry bit and yeah, just not allow them through really. And if they still go for it, they're likely to be the ones that end up off the track because of it.
Yeah, very true. Let me see any big battles. Not at the moment.
We've got a bit of a train falling for P9. It's got Mitchell. He's lost a couple of positions to Keenan down in there, but he's still right at the back of him. I'm sure, looking to make a move. As further in front, we've got Isaac Morris now making a move on Ruben Machete, the position he lost. He's gone for the outside this time for the dry stuff. Lish came, but no, he still can't break him there. So I suppose frustratingly for Isaac, Ruben doing exactly what he couldn't do on Dylan. But he's going to have a look into turn one. Goes to the lunge. Oh, and again, it was a bit too aggressive, and Ruben's round onto the grass. Isaac has made his way through, but Ruben has lost the position now to Tom van der Voort because of that.
Let me watch that one.
Yeah, it's well.
Yeah.
From what I could see, it's looking like Isaac is wanting to get any point he can, but so far it hasn't really paid off, at least in a clean way necessarily.
Yeah,
through the race.
But I think Isaac was at least partly with his car alongside Ruben, so that's interesting. Not sure how to view that, if Isaac was alongside enough on Ruben's car or not, but at least he was somewhere there, so yeah. Well, not sure about that, so let's not say anything about that, but yeah. Ruben lost 2 positions, that's what we at least can see.
Yeah, noticed there, so Dylan Platt was getting very close onto the back with Darius Andre, but he dropped back a little bit onto the straight. I'm sure Darius will be wanting to reclaim his P2 that he lost to Mike Quint for an instant on his own.
Oh, we've got a battle for P10, Mika Hakimi, and
they're both in a wall.
Scott Mitchell, oh, Scott Mitchell is stuck.
Oh, they're still bouncing around. Oh, Mitchell's lost both his wings now.
And Mateusz Kwiatkowski, no damage. Scott Mitchell is done for today, at least for the positions I think.
Oh, and Jack Nichols as well. His teammate has lost his front wing.
Oh no.
Not sure where that was. I think that was in a completely different incident.
It all goes wrong for Kings Racing. Oh, drama. And they were so lucky the whole season. Oh, well, we've got Fabian Roof crashing into Mika Hakimi, who lost his front wing. Yes, Mika Hakimi is out. So drama for Mika Hakimi. And now Mike Bell is in P14. Yes, Mike Bell is a lot of times he's complaining he's not fast enough, but now he's in a point scoring position and actually going for P13. And this is all with 1 lap to go, so we're close.
Yeah, clearly everyone noticed that the lap counter is running out. Oh, yeah,
and
side by side
we're going to the
there.
lead. Yeah, but
at the front we've got Mike Quint here looking on Dylan Platt. I didn't notice where Dylan got through. Oh, and Dylan, he's almost gone into the back of Darius there. Very close. But it's all hotting up as we go on to the final lap. Dylan Platt, will he have a look at turn 1 here? A little bit too far behind, and no, he doesn't. So we look back to the battle for P13 with Mike Bell and Adrian Faber side by side into the final chicane. And Faber has made his way through.
Oh, nice.
Mike Bell
nice
a bit wiggly under brakes there, but was able to hold on, and this is very good for Faber really to go from last into P13 at the moment. Is Mike Bell going to have a look around the outside? Oh, he's locked up. I think he locked his rears there, and he's lost his front wing.
Oh no!
That's so unfortunate for Mike Bell. He was in the point And yeah, unfortunately, just got a bit of a twitch under braking again, and this one unfortunately just sent him into the wall. As I believe Rico Machete is out.
Oh, engine failure, I think. Oh, his engine is off. Oh, this is drama.
It is, yeah, his engine. We pointed out that the Team Frelik cars were the ones smoking the entire race, and it's finally gone pop.
Let's go to the finish now, because yeah, we would have taken more time to look into that, but we don't have time, because there is Andrew Waring, 2020. He won race 1, and now 2021 does it again. Back-to-back wins, race 1 in FC, and there is a finish line battle.
Over the line, is he going to get Darius? No, he isn't.
No, Darius P2 does good. Good for the championship. Dylan Platt P3. Is this his first podium? Question mark. Mike Quinn in P4. Isaac Morris in P5. With Storm van der Voort in P6. Michael Somala. Take my head off for you. P7. Well done. Jake Denhan in P8. Yeah. Jake Denhan was in a bad position the whole race, but the last couple of laps he improved. Tom Voss in P9 for the Academy team. With Mateusz Guzowski P10. Fabian Roots still P11. So he can still get reversed. Adrian Faber in P12 from I believe P32. Maciej Sandak P13, Joseph Hurlock P14, and the final points is for Mike Bell without a front wing.
Exactly, he was just told he had a big gap, luckily, to Bruno Sousa Ferreira behind, and with the retirement there, even does keep him in the points. But wow, that it was sort of simmering a little bit in the middle, but it definitely kicked off there at the end.
I think what we saw is people that are drivers that do like 14 laps, they're doing normal, and then the last 4 laps they think like, oh, let's get a bit more ambitious here, and then it's going wrong. But of course, for Ruven Machete, it's heartbreak that his engine stopped. At least I think it's an engine stop.
Yes, I did quickly look back, and it looked like it just cut out on him there, which was unfortunate. But like we said, the first cars were the ones that were smoking the whole race. So really, Fabian Ruiz got lucky, especially with him fighting through the traffic. He got lucky that his engine survived the race. But yeah, unfortunate there for Machete. Anyway, as we go through the order, Andrew Waring, like you said, dominant display really, winning by over 11 seconds at the end, and Darius Andre P2, Dylan Platt P3, and Mike Quint P4. Now that order switched around a lot during the race itself. Isaac Morris in P5, Van der Voort P6, Marla P7, Anahan P8, Tom Voss P9, and Mateusz Guzowski in P10. And then these are the people that could get reverse grip pole from P11 to P15. Fabian Roof, Adrian Faber, Maciej Sandak, Joseph Hurlock, and Mike Bell rounding out the point. And then we had Bruno Sousa Ferreira, Simon Morville, Maximilian Junger, Tommy Koivunen, and Ruven Machete. Obviously he no, I believe that was shown wrong on there. I might have been confused, but anyway, we have Patrick Magson P20, sorry, Darren Horsell P21, Alessandro Valente P22, got Mitchell 23, got Nichols 24, Jared van der Weide P25, and something has messed up there, because we've got Philip Morby in P27, who I believe did actually finish, but was a lap down, but is classified behind Ruven Machete. And then the DNFers were Mika Hakimi, Luke Mitchell, Tom Parker, Adam Rainey, and Ben Willis, obviously DNFing on lap 1. But anyway, that was a very exciting race, sort of what we expected with those conditions there around a track like this. But we still got another race coming up, so in the meantime we'll just take a quick break, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
So
Hello and welcome back for race 2 here in Canada in Formula Challenge. We had a very exciting race 1 there, mixed conditions, few incidents, and a lot of action. But we're here for race 2. There's been no more rain to speak of since the end of race 1, so it looks like it's going to be dry and a bit more of a maybe normal race for race 2 here. But Menno, what are you expecting, at least if it does stay dry?
A very interesting race 2 because we got a reverse gear number for race 2, and it's number 15. So it's the most cars which we can reverse. It will be reversed, and it's Mike Bell on pole. So that makes it very interesting because the faster guys from race 1 are now down the order halfway the grid. So that will be very interesting to see if they can go forward. So I think it's worth to watch. And it's also very interesting for somebody like Fabian Root, who finished P11. He will now start from P5 in race 2, and I think he will have a decent chance for a good result in race 2. So his first race was I think not as he expected it would be, but now race 2 he will have a chance to get a decent finish position. At least in the top 5, I can see him finish in the top 5, and that's something we shall see if he can do that. But it seems to be a bit more dry as well. So let's see what it will bring the race. We're waiting.
Yeah, definitely. I think with Fabian Roof, like you said, he has got a good chance. He's carried on his streak of scoring points. Well, I suppose not really a streak. He had one where he didn't, but it's still a point score for him. And like I say, a good start for race 2. But it also means that Adrian Faber, who finished just behind him in race 1, will also be in front, and he was also a very fast guy. So I'll see. It should be very interesting. Once it goes to the race session, we'll be able to run you through the full grid. Let's see exactly where everyone is. That should be within a few seconds.
Well, we're waiting for that.
We have at the moment, I believe we might be waiting for people because at the moment only 30 cars are in the server. Obviously it's a full grid of 32, which was the amount that we had in race 1. So we might just be waiting for a few people to join. At the moment I believe it's Tom Parker who is not coming back for race 2, and haven't been able to work out who the other person is. I don't know if you've been able to have a look, Menno.
I believe that maybe it was Fabian Root who had a problem, or is he already in?
Oh, it is Fabian Roof. Yes, he's not in the server at the moment. That could be very interesting if he's not able to join back. Obviously, a shame for him. Like we said, it's a great opportunity for him here in race 2. But yeah, at the moment he's not in the server.
Yeah, I fear he will be too late for the second race. Unless he is joining.
Obviously, we like to wait for people and make sure we can get all the people, but at some point, unfortunately, we will have to go to the race, which I believe we might be doing now.
Yeah, and that would mean that Fabian Root is not taking part in the second race, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it looks that way. We've now gone into the race session without Fabian Roof and without Tom Parker, so unfortunate for them. But like we said, at some point, unfortunately, we do have to go ahead with things, and I'm sure we'll still get a very exciting race nonetheless.
For sure.
13 cars are still a very there's still a lot of cars on the grid, so
yeah. And we're waiting for everybody to line up, and then for Mike Bell to lead the train of cars on the formation lap.
Exactly, yeah. I suppose it's these drivers. It's going to be difficult, or at least they're going to have to readjust really to this race two start. Obviously, race one it was a wet start with a dry line, but now the track is completely dry, so going to be a different start for them. I'm sure in the warm-up session, a few of them were doing some practice starts, so we'll just have to wait and see whether it's paid off for some of them. As we head off onto the formation lap now, with, like we said, Mike Bell leading the way. He's had this a few times before. He's pretty good at defending and holding back a bit of a train. Become a little bit infamous for that. So we'll have to wait and see if he's able to do that again today. And the rest of the grid will be Joseph Herlock in P2, Macho Sandak in P3, and Adrian Faber in P4, Kozlowski in P5, where Fabian Reef should have been. Just moved everyone else up a slot behind. So Tom Voss in P6, Jake Dennehan in P7, Michael Tumala in P8, and then we've got Tom van der Voort in P9, Isaac Morris in P10, Mike Quint in P11, and Dylan Platt in P12. Then obviously the top two from race one, so Darius Andre P13 and Andrew Waring in P14, with Bruno Sousa Ferreira in P15, Kevin Mordell P16, Maximilian Junger P17, Tommy Koivunen in P18, Rickard Magnussen in P19, and Darren Horsell in P20. And then Alessandro Valente P21, Scott Mitchell in P22, Jack Nichols in P23, and Jared van der Weide in P24. And then Ruben Machete obviously was DNF on the final lap in P25, Philip Morby P26, Mika Hakimi P27, and Luke Mitchell P28. And then the final two, Adam Rainey and Ben Willis, see both DNF quite early on in race one, so I'm sure they'll be looking to make their way back through the grid and hopefully salvage something of the day today. But like we said, we should be in for a very exciting race here with Mike Bell at the front.
Yeah.
The fast guys not quite as far back, or at least the leaders from race one not quite as far back as they should have been if we had the full grid in today, or race two. But
what is very interesting is Mike Bell is driving quite a slow warm-up lap, so that's actually fun to see. I saw the last, I think the last 500 meters, and he just took his time and was not like going extremely fast there. But yeah, he's on pole, and let's see how his start will be. And yeah, will be a very interesting race. Waiting until everybody has lined up. I believe there's nobody starting from the pits now, so all 30 cars will start from the grid. So now all standing, waiting for the lights. Could take a while. There they go. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are go, go, go. And a good start for Mathieu Sandak, or a lightning start for Mathieu Sandak, but also for I think Adrian Faber.
4 wide almost into turn 1 there. Sorry, yeah.
Oh.
Like I say, Adrian Faber, there's a bit of barging around all around at the front there. Adrian Faber's made away in P2. Mike Bell still in P1, and Mathieu Sandak, yeah, off that lightning start. Unfortunately, still in P3. Couldn't make any moves there. Further back, everyone, yeah, still keeping it pretty clean. Yeah. No proper incidents to speak of so far.
No drama at the moment.
Got Isaac Morris and Darius Andre side by side. The 2 title rivals. Must have been a good start there from Darius Andre to be alongside him, and he has got in front. And Mike Quint as well is now looking to have a look on the grass up the inside of Isaac Morris, who himself looks up the inside of Darius Andre.
Yeah,
he makes a move there. No contact. And they're still side by side on the rejoin.
I think Darius
will have to
Darius needed to go offline there.
They're both looking very aggressive. Isaac up the inside of Dylan Platt at the hairpin.
I think Darius needed to avoid the incident there with Isaac, so that's why he went off. And I see another car smoking. Which car is it? And I believe it's the car of Guatemala.
Yeah, I believe he was also smoking in race 1. Meanwhile, at the front we've got Sis Herlock and Sandak side by side, almost into the final chicane. Not quite.
And a change for the lead. Change for the lead. I think it's now Mike Bell against Adrian Faber. Mike Bell will try. Oh, they hit. Oh, they hit. Yeah, and Mike Bell goes off. Yeah, but he cannot help
behind. Sorry, I hear a few incidents behind. We'll have to have a look and see who that is. Oh, is that the two Force Polonias having an incident down the start-finish straight? Let's have a look. Oh, it looks like Hakimi just missed his braking at the final chicane. Oh, but then no, there was another incident going on anyway.
Oh, Kevin Morville went into the wall. It blocked the whole grid and multiple cars involved.
Yeah, we've got, so already 4 cars are out. Jack Nicholls, Scott Mitchell, so both King's Racing cars having an awful day overall. Maximilian Younger as well out, Mika Hakimi out, and then there's a few cars with lots of damage. Adam Rainey and Kevin Morville and Philip Morby as well.
Drama.
So unfortunate to see that. But like you say, at the front, we had Favourite take the lead. Sat at the hairpin, Jake Dennehan and Tom van der Voort going side by side, switching positions. And Jake Dennehan still in P7, which I believe is where he started. But I think he's had a few battles to keep hold of that. Further back, got Darius Andre defending here from Andrew Waring. So these two didn't really end up battling in race 1. Andrew Waring almost got into the back of it into the chicane there. And then you got Tom Ross. I think he had a bad exit from the chicane there. Tez Kozowski has got to have a look around the outside at turn 1. No, not quite able to do it. Tom Ross has held himself in P5 there.
But Adrian Faber is now checking out. And it's very interesting because race 1 of course was won by the other car of the team, and now we've got another car of the same team leading, Josh.
Yeah, exactly. So very good day for Valet, as we've got Tom van der Voort, Isaac Morris and Dylan Platt all having a well, they're all getting very close there in a bit of a pack with each other. Isaac Morris has got to look around the outside of Dylan Platt and they make contact, and Isaac's had to cut the chicane there. And he's lost the position to Darius Andre. And that's unfortunate there for him. Darius himself is going to be able to have a look maybe on Dylan Platt around the outside of the hairpin. No, not quite. Oh, and there's contact. Isaac's round a little bit. He's lost the position to Andrew Waring there.
And another position to Mike Quint. Oh, all the moves Isaac Morris is making today are not working out for him.
Yeah, I didn't see the kind of what started that one. Oh, and at the chicane we've got Jake Dennehan and Tez Kozowski went side by side. Somehow they both kept it on the track, but Kozowski got an overtake
from P3. It's now Joseph Herlock who goes from P3 to P2 for Alpha Delta Racing. And now it's Maciej Sandak still in P4, Tom Voss in P5, Jake Dennehan in P6. And a great battle around P7 and 8 with now Tom van der Voort in P8, Darius Andre in P9, Dylan Platt in P10.
Yeah, Andre managed to get himself involved in that Kozowski and Tom van der Voort fight, and Dylan Platt as well, still right on the back of him. He's going to have a look into the chicane. No, not quite. A lot happening there. Couldn't quite keep up with all of it. There's a lot of positions changing at the start. Obviously, this normally happens in race 2. People are, well, out of position really because of the reverse grid. There's a lot of people looking for quite opportunistic moves, but yeah, at the front we've still got Adrian Faber in the lead quite comfortably now, of almost a 3-second gap, so maybe he'll be able to do exactly what his valet teammate did in race 1 and just check out, but we'll have to wait and see. At the moment it's looking like Herlock and Bell maybe don't quite have the pace to keep up with him, but we'll have to wait and see if the race 1 leaders are able to make their way through relatively quickly and charge on the road. Yeah.
Tom van der Voort hit Mateusz Kozowski. Mateusz Kozowski now is off, and I think he's out of the race. What happened there?
He is, yeah. I think he kept all his wings, but obviously he would have had a lot of damage anyway.
No, I think it was not the mistake of Tom van der Voort. It was Mateusz Kozowski himself who just got ahead of Tom van der Voort during the braking, and it was just like, yeah, I just ended it Tom van der Voort, but it didn't look like he was the one who actually caused it there. I think he never expected Kozowski to close that door there.
Yeah, so, well, interesting there, but a shame for Kozowski either way. Being out of the race, was having a very nice battle there. Meanwhile, we've got Tom Voss now right on the back of Macho Sandak. Obviously he's gonna probably have to wait until the DRS straight. That's the best chance to go for a move, and he does sit behind. Gets very close in the braking zone. Oh, and actually has not had the best of exits here. That's Macho Sandak to just run away for a second, as we've got, I think, Quint and Andrew Wareham go side by side there as well at the hairpin.
Yeah, we're already, they already touched a bit. And also Isaac Morris in P12 again. Can he overtake Andrew Wareham? No, he can't for now.
Yeah, so, we've got as well Tumara and Sousa Ferreira side by side at the chicane. Bit of contact there. Sousa Ferreira had to cut the chicane, and Tumara has made up the position though. Not sure exactly how clean that may have been deemed. And Ruben Machete has been able to pass Bruno Sousa Ferreira.
We've got a spinner. We've got a spinner in P2. No, we don't have a spinner in P2. It was Josef Urlach who got it all wrong, and he needed to have like lightning reflexes to save that. He lost the position to Mike Bell in P2, but yeah, he nearly lost it, and it was nearly the end of the race for him. Oh, that was a very interesting thing to see.
Yeah, and this has allowed a big train really to form. Not in the way we normally expect from Mike Bell, but there is a train from P2 now, all the way down really to Denihan at least in P6. Darius Andre and the group behind aren't too far behind.
And Adrian Faber is just checking out, so will we see another win for this team, Valle Esports? We shall see.
So Joseph Herlock has got past Mike Bell there. I believe that was just a relatively straightforward one down the straight. I think they've all been moving around as well behind. Yeah, Darius Andre has made his way past Tom van der Voort up into P7.
I think we've got a bit of damage at Jake Denhan. Jake Denhan went into the wall at the Wall of Champions. He didn't lose any parts, no front wing, no rear wing, but I'm pretty sure that's dark blue damage. So Jake Denhan still in P6, but a bit of damage, I would say.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the TCS soft cars maybe do some team orders because of that. We saw in Austria them two, was it them two, sorry, or the Force Balloons? I can't quite remember. I believe it was TCS soft cars. Had a great battle with a bit of contact even in Austria. So clearly no team orders were there, but it'd be interesting to see if they enforce any now. As Tom Voss is having a look up the inside of Macho Sandak there at the hairpin. It was a bit too far back really to go for anything. They've both made it through, and now Tom will have to make his way past him on the straight. Sandak has been quite lucky here in the last few laps. He's still just about got the DRS. But it seems like this time maybe it won't help him, but no, he's just got the straight line speed over Tom Voss there, and he's able to keep on again to P4 as Darius Andre flies across the chicane. I'll have to have a look back, see if he just lost it on his own. Guessing he did. Yeah, he just broke too late and almost went into his teammate, so very lucky to avoid that. That has allowed Tom van der Voort back through into P7.
Mistake from Mike Quint, who got it all wrong into turn 1, and now Van der Waring went to P10 because of that. Maciej Sandak is really struggling now in the first sector, and Tom Voss is very close now. He wanted to get P4 then and get away, but I think for Tom Voss it's a case of run while you still can, because Jake Denhan is behind, and of course Tom Voss is here for I think this round only, so he knows that he will not get a lot of chances, so wants to make the move now.
Exactly, Denhan had a bit of a look there. There's a bit of contact, a couple of bits of contact at the head in there, as I think they were both, or all three of them really weren't quite sure what each other was doing, whether they were looking for moves or not. Either they're all still in a line going down the straight here as Tom Voss finally got the top speed maybe to have a look. Macho Sandak he does. Denhan's going to have to sit behind for now. Sandak lost it on his own. That's forced Tom Voss. And Darius Andre is in the wall.
Ooh,
I think
he
he
is
just
so
got
lucky.
caught out there.
He didn't lose anything there. Was just unlucky. And there is Andrew Waring. It all kicks off now, Josh. I'm on the edge of my seat and nearly falling off. Whoa, this is very interesting. So we now got Adrian Faber leading, then Joseph Hurlock in P2 with Mike Bell still in P3. Can he get a podium? Don't want to jinx it, but would be awesome to see Mike Bell on the podium. Jake Denhan now in P4, which is very good for his championship ambitions. Mathieu Sandak still in P5, but he is struggling. And look at Tom van der Voort. Tom van der Voort will, I think, try to overtake. Of course, he will try to overtake him, but will he succeed? I think not here. If he wants to do it, he needs to do it in the third sector. But the problem is, I think Mathieu Sandak will have the DRS as well. So Tom van der Voort now looks at the inside. Will he go for the move? Yes, he will go for it. Can he make it? Well, he's now ahead, but how's the acceleration out of this corner? Yeah, he's ahead, so Tom van der Voort now moves into P5 with Mathieu Sandak in P6.
That's well there, so Andrew Waring got through on Darius Andre and is now himself having a look at them, but no, he's just boxed in really. Can't quite do anything. There's a bit of contact, but they all make it through the chicane. So yes, Tom van der Voort did get in front of Sandak, and Andrew Waring looks like he wants to have a go as well. But Sandak's top speed looks very good. Andrew Waring's going to have to dive it into turn 1. And yes, it stopped. Very nice move, but Tom van der Voort didn't have a nice break zone there. And Andrew Waring is through as well on him. So there, 2 corners, 2 overtakes for Andrew Waring. Very good stuff from him.
Pushed him a bit wide, I would say. So that's not the way to go. But I would say Tom van der Voort got it wrong. The corner before, so yeah.
Exactly, I think as well, Tom Voss and Mike Quint behind were having a bit of a battle there. But Tom Voss now at P9, Mike Quint at P10.
We've got a crasher, I believe Bruno Ferreira crashed. It was in P17.
And while that was happening as well, Mike Bell and Joseph Hurlock were having a battle there at the front. But meanwhile, Tom van der Voort has got past Andrew Waring again there. And Sandro as well sends it on Mathieu Sandak. So it's all moving about here in this pack.
Oh, we missed something. Isaac Morris. What happened with Isaac Morris?
Oh yes, Isaac Morris is out. That was on the last lap. I did not see what that was.
Let's watch it.
Too much going on. We've got Tom van der Voort and Waring side by side, and they're both in the wall. And Andrew Waring has lost his front wing there. Oh, and he can't quite get it going again. He's brushing the wall again. Oh, I think he's stuck on some debris as well. That looks like that is the end of his race there. Such a shame for Andrew Waring. I mean, they're all battling hard. I think that was sort of bound to happen, unfortunately. Yeah. Tom van der Voort has been quite lucky to get away with at least no wing damage. I'm sure his suspension is not
I believe Isaac Morris is DNF. I think that's an internet issue because I didn't see a crash or something. So
that's a big shame then for Isaac Morris, and it could have big implications on the championship. Darius Andre still in P5, and he gained points over Isaac in race 1 as well. So looking quite good for Darius Andre coming out of this round. But the battle is still going on. In that mid-pack, got Mike Quinn maybe having a look at Tom Voss into the hairpin. He does. Is he going to make that stick? Yep. That's probably one of the Kaluna moves that we've seen so far from this pack. And notes as well, so at the front, Hurlock got his way back up into P2 past Mike Bell, but they're both still very close to each other, and Jake Denhan has managed to escape the pack, and I think we'll get onto the back of him at some point. And yeah, Mathieu Sandak, like I said, he has been struggling a little bit. His top speed seems really good, not quite good enough maybe. Is Mike Quinn going to have a look? Yeah. Not quite into turn 1.
Tries it, but couldn't pull it off. And in all of this, 12 laps completed, and Adrian Faber made the move at the first lap and leads. And let me see, it's 6 seconds, even more than Andrew Waring had in race 1, I believe, at this stage. So he's doing a good job. Joseph Hurlock also is doing a very good job in P2. So yeah, impressed with how he's doing so far. But Mike Bell is really close. Can we get Mike Bell on the podium again? I believe last time we had him on the podium was that last year at Baku? I believe so.
Yeah, I think we had a Baku last year. I know at least we had a win for Mike Bell with Tom Parker in P2.
The other way around.
Maybe it was. I can't quite remember. Obviously at the time they weren't for the same team, but this time they are both driving 4 mile power. So yes, I believe that was the last time, and at the moment it's been given to Mike Bell to
look at Mike Quint now.
Again.
From one Mike to another Mike. Mike Quint is going for P6. No, he thinks better of it. He doesn't want to take the risks. So I think that's kind of smart, because now he's got a better exit on this corner, and now I think he will go for it if he's got more. If he can get on the inside, he can risk it. No, he doesn't risk it.
Yeah, Sandak pretty very late, and Dylan Platt got a little bit involved there on the exit of turn 1. Obviously they were both slowing each other up, and I think Dylan just getting a little bit caught out. I think through all of this, really, Dylan has just sort of been sitting back and watching it all happen, and just picking up the pieces where he can. So he's in a good spot in P8, and yeah, he's looking like as well he'd quite like to get past these two. But they're all very evenly matched at the moment, so it's going to be difficult, because as well Tom Voss is still obviously right behind them too.
So it's very close. So P15 is now for Jared van der Weide, with Patrick Magnussen in P16 and chasing. So that's for the last scoring position. You've got Tommy Koivunen in P14 and Ben Willis in P13. Are very close. Well, I believe in P10 I saw a big mistake from Tom van der Voort, who now will get overtaken by...
So we've got Mike Quint going for another move. Macho Sandak into the chicane. He's ahead of him now before the break, and then he has made his way through. Macho Sandak didn't seem to want to fight that too much, maybe realising that he hadn't quite got the pace. So maybe just realised that it wasn't worth fighting too hard anymore, but this may allow Dylan Platt up the inside at turn 1, and it does make a bit of contact, but Dylan Platt is still around the outside at turn 2, and he does make a move, and Tom Voss as well on the inside yet. But he isn't quite close enough to make a move. Oh, and he hits him at the break, and I think Sandak had to brake a bit early there.
Yeah, but Sandak is
on the exit. They're
too
stuck
slow
together.
there. He is so slow on the throttle that Tom Voss actually didn't expect that.
Exactly, yeah. And Tom Voss has been able to make his way past there on the exit of the chicane. Still got side by side down the straight. There's still a little bit of an overlap, but Tom Voss has made the position now. As in front, Dylan Platt I think just missed the chicane on his own there, but didn't lose too much time from all of that. So a lot of positions changing there, and meanwhile further in front of them, like I say, so Faber still with a 6-second lead, with Herlock and Bell still kind of just sitting, well, Mike Bell just sitting in Herlock's DRS at the moment, but not quite close enough to make any moves. Jake Dennehan has been closing in on them over the last few laps since he's been freed from the pack, but I don't think it's quite been by enough to really challenge them. As I say that, Joseph Herlock makes a mistake at turn 1 and 2 to allow Mike Bell right in the back of him, and that's going to allow Dennehan, to close in even more. Behind him as well, you've got Darius Andre, obviously. He's also closed in a little bit, but not quite enough, sort of on his own right now.
I think Mike Bell is quite intelligent here. I think he was not much faster than Joseph Herlock the last couple of laps, and just stayed in his DRS. And yeah, if you're not fighting the guy ahead, that's of course a strategy as well. While not seeing a big mistake from Joseph Herlock, because if the driver in front does a decent pace, then you can just follow. But
exactly, and it looks like it could potentially be that Mike Bell has been quite smart to just sit in the DRS and maybe not push too hard, because it looks like Herlock might have been pushing hard himself to keep in front. Made a few mistakes with that. Maybe his tyres going off a little bit, but either way it's allowed obviously Bell to close right up, and Dennehan as well, now in the DRS of both of them. So too far back going into the fun chicane there. Might get a run into turn 1. Potentially.
Nope.
He's still quite far back. It'll have to be a big dive if he goes for it and he doesn't have a look. But Jake Denhan is right on the back of him now, and he is someone who will potentially go for a little bit more aggressive moves like that. So they'll have to watch out. And obviously Denhan as well is a very fast driver, so they'll have to watch out in general with him. Oh, behind, Darius Andre has a massive slide coming out of the chicane. That's now Mike Quinn right onto the back of him. Can't quite have a look there to make the position just now, but that's lost Darius for a lot of time there. And will we see Mike Quinn be able to go for a move at some point soon? Obviously only a couple of laps left.
Darius
so
needs to be very smart here, because he knows Isaac is out of the race. And the only thing he needs to do is just score some points. That's always a bit more points he can score on Isaac. So, yeah, don't throw it all away, Darius.
Exactly, a P5 or a P6 will still be very good for him in the championship. And I'm sure that is what he's thinking about. But he's also a driver that seems to like any position he can get. So we'll see what happens there. As in the pack in front, none of them really close enough to make any moves. They're all seemingly quite equal in a straight line. Even Herlock, even without the DRS. Darius makes another mistake at the chicane. Let's go allow Mike Quinn up the inside, and Darius does actually just, I think, lift off a little bit. Just let
he
him
doesn't
through.
fight it. He doesn't fight it. He knows.
Just play it a bit smart, get the points that he needs. And yeah, he doesn't really need to do much more than that. And maybe as well, his tyres themselves are going off, so maybe he's just wanting to sit behind.
Yeah, the battle for P2 is still very tense. It's not for the win, because Adrian Faber looks to be set to win this second race of the evening. But yeah, P2, 3 and 4 are very close. And one of them will lose out on a podium. But who will it be? Because I see Joseph Herlock still in P2, but he gets it wrong sometimes in some of the corners. But yeah, he still is in P2, so that's the only thing that counts. Or it counts when you have that at the line. Mike Bell has now a bit of problems with Jake Denhan, and I think Jake Denhan will go for it. But how much risk does Jake Denhan want to go? Because if he can score big points, he will be in this championship fight again.
Yeah, well, they're going to go side by side into the chicane, yeah. And make a bit of contact, bit of margin. Both of them still made it through on the track, which I think is the most I've seen of any move there so far. But Mike Bell is still quite close heading into turn 1, but no, he doesn't go for a move. So yeah, quite aggressive there from Jake Denhan, but he has made it, made the position, and they did both stay on the track. So got to say it's quite fair.
Yeah.
And even more points for him.
Well, on the last lap of this race.
Exactly, and behind them as well actually, so Dylan Platt has been able to close up quite a bit on Darius Andre back into the DRS. So they had this big group, this big pack at the start of the race. They sort of spread out a little bit in the middle, but it seems like for the final lap at least, they're going to have another go at it. Dylan Platt right on the back of Darius Andre, and he seems to have the pace on him at the moment. Darius Andre just hitting the wall there on the exit. Seems to be a little bit all over the place right now. Maybe his tyres are going off. And Dylan breaks very late into the hairpin. Going to try and go around the outside, but not quite able to do that. Going to be difficult to get him down the straight here, because Darius himself will have the DRS and slipstream of Quint in front.
Yeah. I'm going back to the lead. Yeah. Adrian Faber is there, and he's winning his second race of the evening. The first race was won by a valet car, the second race as well. So it's Joseph Herlock who gets P2, P3 for Jake Denhan, and Mike Bell just lose out. P4 for Mike Bell, Mike Quint in P5, P6 for Darius Andre, P7 for Dylan Platt, P8 for Tom Voss with Tom van der Voort in P9, Luke Mitchell in P10 with Maciej Sandak in P11. Uwe Machede overcomes his DNF in race 1 to finish P12 with Ben Willis. Well done, Ben Willis. After retiring at the first lap race 1, now gets P13, P14 for Tommy Koivunen, a guy that also not scored a lot of points this season. So P40 for him, and P15 from the man from down under, Gerard van der Weide. So those are the point scoring positions, with Patrick Kerr, Magnussen just losing out on points in P16. So, race 2. A very, very interesting race again. Like always, a lot of drama, as expected. But also, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So we were just seeing as well, Michael Tumala there, I noticed. I think his engine died on the back straight, going on the final lap. So he's had to enter the pit lane to try and cross the line. Philip Morby has just passed him before he does. It's going to be close between him and Morval. I think Tumala just got Morval there. I believe, by about 100th of a second, Tumala beat Morval for P19 and P20.
Yeah.
But yeah, a very exciting race there. Probably about as chaotic as you might have expected for race 2, especially at Canada, where it was quite easy to go for moves. Very well deserved for Adrian Faber for the win, I'd say.
Yeah, very deserved. But now, question for you: would you agree that this is Darius's big gain? I mean, he didn't win a single race or got on a podium, but I think he did very well to just score two decent point scoring position. With Isaac now retiring from race 2, this could very well be a bit headache for Isaac, and a blessing for Darius.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. Darius just sort of did what he needed to do, as he came in as the championship leader. So he was always going to be the one that maybe didn't need to take as many risks, and we saw Isaac did take quite a few risks. Obviously, that didn't necessarily lead to his DNF from race 2 there, but it definitely led to Darius just scoring points on him in general. So yeah, very interesting for the championship. Obviously, Darius will have quite a big lead now. But I'm sure Isaac will be looking to see what he can do to gain those points back in the next round. But I think we'll have a word with the race 1 winner today, and the person who I believe has the exact same results as he did last year here in Canada. Andrew Waring, obviously from Canada, seemed to do really well here, at least in race 1, and then race 2, unfortunately, again, not too great. But what do you think about that?
Not much you can do in race 2, unfortunately. A lot of people seem desperate to hold on positions that they're obviously going to lose, and I'm not a regular in the series, so I get it that they probably don't want nobody passing them, but sometimes it's just a concede thing. But race 1, it's perfect, flag to flag, good pole. I had Toby and Tom Ely engineering for me. Tom built a great setup. I didn't have that much time to prepare either. Only got the call up 30 minutes before the race, but it's easy to drive a car that handles that good. So
yeah, another shout out to Tom Ely there then for the setup.
Of course, always, man, always.
Yeah, nice. Well, you said that you just got the call up 30 minutes to go. So you've done quite a few rounds already this season. Is that then? Are you more just kind of an emergency driver now, or are you still planning to do more races?
I think I'm not sure how the rules actually play, but I'm pretty sure I've tapped out my maximum amount of reserves I can do. I'm a full-time reserve for
4 rounds.
I'm a full-time reserve for THR and SC, but they don't need me that much, obviously. So
fair enough. Well, hopefully we can see at least one more race from you then, even if it isn't Super Cup rather than FC. But very good stuff from you today. I'm sure. I'm sure you enjoyed it. Winning at home always got to be a nice feeling.
Always, man. Always. The Beavers are proud.
Nice. Well, that's good to hear. I think next up, we'll probably speak with someone who obviously didn't have the best of results today, but is still going to be up there in the championship. Isaac.
Hi.
Is that what you were thinking about, the championship today? Or, obviously not ideal for you, but where are you looking to go from here?
Today obviously wasn't ideal. From the beginning, from the end of qualifying, I had some massive connection issues, and at that moment I was thinking about whether I should continue or not. So like in between session, I just reset my internet and everything seemed to be fine for race 1, but everything just came back in race 2. Had some huge desync and like cars would disappear in and reappear in, and I have spoken to some people about it, and like they've said it's okay, like because it was just a bit of a mess anyway, today's race. So yeah, like on like I think it was like lap 1 or lap 2 or whatever it was, in race 2, like everyone disappeared coming into the hairpin. So I just took my normal line. No, I came off the line, sorry, and and then everyone just reappeared then, like right in front of me, and just had to take evasive action. And yeah, it was a little bit frustrating, because it would have been interesting to see how that race would have panned out, after what happened to me. But it is what it is sometimes, and it's one of the downfalls of sim racing, the connection issues. And it isn't the first, and it won't be the last time either. So yeah, I just have to get a grip with practice and stuff, and just take it from here, and just not dabble too much on today's race.
Yeah, well, that's yeah, obviously a shame for you today, but good to hear you. Just kind of, I guess, keep your head down for the next few rounds and try and claw back those points that obviously Darius did gain quite a bit today in the championship. But good luck for the future rounds to be able to do that.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Dylan.
Yes.
But yeah, I appreciate that, and yeah, Silverstone's next, and I have no idea what's going to happen to Silverstone, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll just take every race at a time, and just focus on taking it one corner at a time, and just hope I don't die because of my internet again.
Yes, that's something good to hope for always. But thank you very much, then, Isaac.
Thank
And
you.
yes, as we just said there, I'm sure seems surprised joining us in the broadcast room. Dylan Platt had a very good round today. And in general, I mean, yeah, obviously you started the season with just a few emergency trials, wasn't it? But you've come into the season really done quite well the last few rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else was. Yeah, it's mostly just getting used to this car. I think one of those. Can be a very weird car to drive at points. I think all of us have raced it. No, but it's just obviously getting used to everything. But yeah, it's been a really good season so far.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Are you looking to obviously you're kind of at Thunderdog now as a primary? Are you looking to do anything in the championship wise? Obviously, you've had a lot of consistent results, but yeah, you're looking to just get up the order and learn a little bit, maybe for the future.
Yeah, it's I'm taking every race as it comes. Learning new stuff about the setup or whatever. So obviously, hopefully that should yield more better results as we go along. But we'll see.
That's good to hear. Well done today then, and well, good luck in the future rounds then.
Thank you.
So then, Menno, I see. Well, quite a chaotic round today. What do you take from that? And well, yeah, what do you think we could see in the future then?
Well, I think more chaotic rounds is actually something we will see in the future, like always. Yeah, well, looking back on today, the rain didn't help. It was quite tricky. I would say the first race, I saw a lot of drivers actually taking a lot of care, and it looked good. But yeah, at the end, it was a bit difficult in race 1, and in race 2, it was yeah, more. Yeah, people wanted to take more risk. People who were like reversed, they wanted to take a bit more risk to stay ahead, and that was, I think, good to see. But sometimes it went wrong. So yeah, all in all, I think your typically normal races in Formula Challenge. So yeah, I think good. Overall, of course, as always, drama, but it's also good battling. And good podiums.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as Isaac Morris actually mentioned there in his interview, next time round will be Silverstone in 2 weeks' time. Obviously, the home race for a lot of the drivers here, being in Britain, and always quite an interesting round. So we look forward to seeing that. In the meantime, we have Super Cup here on Thursday at Canada, and then the development series of Super League Lights and Super League next week as well at Canada. So we look forward to, well, it'll be difficult for them really to match the chaos we had today, but I'm sure there'll be good races as well. But anyway, from me and from Menno and from Szymon Frelik as well on the cameras, it's goodbye.